Think about the impact the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had on the companions. Love is not something intangible. I don't want you to think this is some mystical, philosophical concept I'm speaking of. In our deen, there are very hard, easy ways. When I say hard, I mean objective. These are hard things. They're not just soft ideas. Very objective ways that you can increase your love for the Prophet of Allah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam teaches us, send salawat upon me. For the one that sends the most salawat upon me will be closest to me on the day of judgment. The Arabs would say, Man ahabba shay'an akthara dhikrahu. Whoever loves something remembers it abundantly. You know, when I visit Muslim countries, you will find an old frail lady or an old frail man that's sitting at some store under a shutter selling some small, humble products behind. The guy probably doesn't know too much about business or finances, doesn't have some advanced degree from Kellogg or anything like that, but he's sitting there and doing salawat upon the Prophet. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. La ilaha illallah. How simple and beautiful were these people? How simple. They would have these dusty books with thin paper full of du'as they would read every morning. You guys know what I'm talking about? They don't know what's in there. A lot of times, unfortunately, bid'at as well. But that's not the point. The point right now is their commitment, their devotion. That they knew what had to be done and they did it. This nation has learned too much, and that's come at a cost of us losing our actions. We've become too smart for ourselves, unfortunately. A part of love is intellectual, but so much of love, going back to the origins of that word, involves just committing that I'm going to do this. The Prophet ﷺ said, one of you cannot be a complete believer until I am more beloved to him. حَتَّى أَكُونَ أَحَبَّ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ وَالِدِهِ وَوَلَدِهِ وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. Until I am more beloved to him than his father, than his child, and all of mankind. And the muhaddithun say, why did the Prophet of Allah mention father first, child second? Even though naturally the child is loved more by the father than the father will ever be loved by the child. Everyone loves their child more, no matter how much the children say, Baba, I love you more than you love me, it's nonsense. The parent will, mi'a fil mi'a, always love their child more. Intahal kalam, that's it. But why is there taqdeem here? Because every human being has a father, not everyone has a child. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's message appeals to everyone. حَتَّى أَكُونَ أَحَبَّ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ وَالِدِهِ وَوَلَدِهِ وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. You need to love the Prophet of Allah. You live in a world where prophets are not loved, they're not even mentioned. People don't care for them, they barely care for God. But a Muslim's identity lies in that. You cannot be robbed of this. Because if your prophet is taken away from you, your revelation is taken away from you, then how do you know what your worldview is? Where will you find examples? Where will you anchor yourself when your ship begins to rock? Who will you go to? Whose life will you reflect on? Whose legacy will you take from when you're sad and when you've lost someone and when you're in pain?